Howdy, my name is Karis White, and I'll be exploring free will in regards to mask mandates for my video presentation. So, for a little introduction, one of the main problems that emerged during the COVID-19 lockdown was the government's requirement that masks be worn. Mandates requiring masks, according to some, violate people's right to privacy and autonomy. Some thought that rather than being a law mandated by the government, wearing a mask should be a personal preference. Despite the overwhelming body of scientific evidence demonstrating mask ability to stop the spread of COVID-19, some people continue to doubt the science underlying mask mandates, which fueled opposition and noncompliance with masks. When it comes to the topic of government mandated mask policy during the COVID-19 pandemic, Augustine's philosophy on free will provides a unique viewpoint that explores the intricacies of personal choice, state authority, and ethical duty. Understanding free will. According to Augustine, the idea of free will acknowledges both God's sovereignty and people's capacity for free choice. Individuals must choose whether or not to abide by the rules set forth by the government regarding mask wearers. While Augustine may argue that humans are free to choose whether or not to wear masks, these choices are made within a broader context of divine providence in which human choices affect God's ultimate plan. Moral responsibility. Augustine places a strong emphasis on moral accountability and upholding one's obligations to others. He proves this by stating in his work, the soul is not moved to abandon higher things and love inferior things unless it wills to do so. People must make moral decisions about their duty to safeguard the health and welfare of their communities when it comes to mask mandates. Augustine would argue that donning a mask is morally required and based on love and concern for one's neighbor rather than a question of taste. Community solidarity. Augustine's theology emphasizes how important community solidarity is and how interconnected all people are. Augustine might highlight the need for everyone to take responsibility for safeguarding society's weaker members and advancing everyone's welfare in the context of mask laws. People can show their support for their fellow citizens and further the common good of society by wearing masks. Ethical challenge of community solidarity. According to Michael Sandel's work, Are We All in This Together? Putting aside individual self-interest, Sandel contends that the pandemic poses a larger ethical dilemma. In order to properly handle the situation, he highlights the significance of solidarity or a feeling of shared purpose and support for one another. According to Sandel, solidarity entails more than just empathy. It also entails realizing how interconnected we are and how behaving in ways that advance the interests of everyone. How Sandel and Augustine's philosophy relate. In summary, Sandel's exploration of the ethical challenge of solidarity during the COVID-19 pandemic is consistent with Augustine's concept of free will. By emphasizing individual interconnectedness, the importance of collective responsibility, the need to move beyond self-interest, and the role of empathy and mutual support in promoting the common good. Both viewpoints emphasize the moral necessity of acting in ways that strengthen society's bonds and advance solidarity, as well as the ethical aspects of human freedom. Government and civic duty. The function of civic duty in the government in upholding law and order is discussed in Augustine's political theology. Augustine defends the right of the government to rule, but he also warns against the misuse of authority and the violation of people's rights. Augustine would argue that while government should adopt laws to protect public health, they should do so while respecting people's freedoms and consciousness, especially when it comes to mask mandates. Conclusion. Augustine highlights the significance of love and concern for others as fundamental tenets of Christian morality. He can contend that the biblical teachings to love one's neighbor is in line with the preventative step of wearing masks to stop the spread of COVID-19. Even though Augustine stresses the value of individual liberties and how although everyone has a choice, due to the presence of free will, there will always be a right choice. He would contend that mask laws are part of the government's obligation to protect the public health. From this angle, Augustine might be in favor of mask laws as a means of upholding the moral duty to safeguard other people's health and welfare. All right, that's all for my presentation. Thank you so much for watching.